Yosi, thank you so much for being here today. I'm super excited to have this conversation.
Thank you for having me.
So, before we even get started, I want you to start off with an introduction in your own words. Who is Yosely Maldonado?
Yosely Maldonado is a 38 years young Latina Dominican family. I'm a hardworking woman. I have two beautiful children, a 20-year-old daughter and a 13-year-old son. I run three businesses. I'm fun, loving, energetic. I am the go-to person with a creative mind that never stops. Kind of have to force myself to take a rest. Very outgoing, ready to do whatever people want to do. I'm all for everything. So
I love that. And I want to talk about you being an entrepreneur and having three businesses. Like, mind blown. How the fuck do you do it? We're going to get into that. But I always start off with every guest talking about their childhood and what that time period in their life looked like. I know you mentioned that you were a teen mom. So kudos to you. I just want to give you your flowers because I was a mom at 20 and that was still super young for me and it was very difficult. But I definitely want to jump into that. But start off, share as much or as little as you're comfortable with and what life looked like for you growing up.
So I'm gonna be honest, childhood, I don't remember a lot of it because it's a little fucked up to say, but in reality, I remember snippets of things that we did as a family. And the thing is, my mother left my father when I was almost nine. So that's when I moved into Jersey. And the transition happened like in a blink of an eye. And back then, she didn't even tell us. She kind of like just moved us to Jersey and was like, yo, we're moving. And it was the sneakiest type of transition because we went to Disney, just us with my mom, no dad. I didn't question. I was 8 years old. I'm like, we're on vacation. Who cares? But when we came back home, we were in another house. And I was like, where's dad? Like to
That's
myself.
gotta be traumatic as fuck for an
It
8-year-old.
was. And I think back like, yo, she straight up just like moved us and didn't say a word. And I guess back then, the Hispanic community is always like, nobody talks about anything. It's like, esto lo que es, and that's it. Like, I'm your mom. What I say goes. So that's how we were raised. Mom said this. That's what you have to do, right? So there was no question as no pregunte, no mire, no nada. Don't give me a funny face. Like, you're going to get slapped. Like, it was like, okay. So my mother worked 90% of my life. Like, I never saw her often. So, and kudos to her because growing up, I didn't think it was a problem. We had a lady at home that would cook, that would clean, which I appreciated because I don't know, we would come home from school. There was always food on the table, but then it was like, where's mom? Mom owned a business in New York. So she traveled every day from Jersey to New York to go work that business. But we were kids. We didn't know any better. My sister went off to college. Me and my brother, I went to school locally, but I went to college, but I went locally. My sister had moved out early. My brother left. And then it was just me. And then when I had my daughter, which I got pregnant at 17, I had her my senior year. And I kind of just did the same cycle of like, work, 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 work. You got food, right? What's the problem? So for me, for years, I thought that was normal. And, there were like, I remember the good things about my childhood, like, oh, we're going to grandma's. Okay. And everything was New York. Like, just, we didn't really do much in Jersey as a family because most of my family was in New York or in DR and Florida. And they're still in the same scattered areas. I really don't have anybody in Jersey now that I think about it. They're all still in New York. But, it was like, we're going to mama's. Okay. For like whatever weekdays. That was like fun time. Or like Christmas, we would get together when we were younger. But as we all started getting older, we never went back to New York. We never did the family parties. We didn't do like Santa Claus would come. Those were things I remember but I was little. But I remember vividly like those birthday parties in McDonald's in New York. You don't do that shit here. Now it's like, damn, I think about these things and sometimes I talk about it to my brother and sister and they're like, I don't remember that. And I'm like, yo, I wasn't by myself. Like, how do y'all not remember? I feel like we all have different ways of remembering things. Some people remember only the bad. I do remember the bad stories, of course. But I think I just forced myself to remember all the good times we had as kids. But then like when we moved to Jersey, it was like, just go to school, come back home. My mom would go to work, come back home. We would see her at night. And then it was like a robotic cycle. So then I grew up with that robotic cycle. When I had my daughter, all I knew was this baby got to eat. I got to finish school. I want to go to college. So this baby's going to grandma's, not my mom, his mom. And I'm like, someone's gonna help me because I'm going to school no matter what. Their thing was, you're not gonna make it. Like, you had a baby, you're not gonna go to school. You're not gonna be able to finish what you want to do. Like, what did you do this for? You shouldn't have had a kid. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, no, I'm sorry. And my daughter knows now, like, I had to do what I wanted to do. I had to keep going because no matter who was around, what about me? Like, I'm like, damn. Even though I was young, I always knew I wanted to go to college. My dream was to dorm, to leave, to get the fuck out of here. And I couldn't do that. So I said, no, then I'm still going to go to school. Like, I want to experience college. I didn't get to experience the dorming. My sister did. You know, I heard stories and I was like, that was so cool. But it was a little fucked up. Like, I'm like, damn, I would have loved to travel and do things. Like, and I wasn't able to do that. So now I'm doing it. Like, now it's me time. Like, oh, you guys are big now. Okay, mommy's going away. Both my children have the same father. So we stayed together for quite some time, but we were kids. We were literally kids. And it was like that obsessive kind of like infatuation love where I thought that was love. And I'm like, oh my God, I have his kids. We have to get married. We have to do this. But reality, we just grew apart and we have a great relationship now, but it just wasn't that. And I knew at one point, I said, this isn't it for me. With my relationship with my daughter, I was actually doing the same thing my mom did without realizing it. Just working my ass off, never being present, providing financially, making sure she had food, making sure there was a home, never letting them know when I'm struggling, never letting them know that PSNG cut off that shit a few times, never letting them know that how the fuck was I going to make the phone bill payment, because I just knew that it had to get done. So for years, I would figure it out. And then I didn't realize that that in turn was affecting my relationship with her because I was like not affectionate. I wasn't present for certain school things. I wasn't present for certain games.
Was there like a certain moment that sticks out for you that was your light bulb moment? Like, I need to be the one to change this cycle that's been passed down from my generation and those before that with your daughter. Was there something big that stuck out? It's like, okay, something needs to change.
There was, and unfortunately, it didn't happen till I was like 35.
Yeah. I mean, that's real shit. It's
You
real.
know, for real, because I was single for a while. You know, I would date, I would never bring anybody home. I was single. I'm like, whatever, you know, I never found anybody that really had, I guess, the energy for me because I'm a lot and I know that. And I'm finally, what is it, embodying who the fuck I am because I'm like, I am a lot of a person. I am a lot of a woman and I'm not for everyone. My last relationship actually was which relationship that helped me realize like life isn't just work. Life isn't just making money, life and family. I didn't know what family was. To me, family was, oh, I'm providing. They're fine. What's the big fucking deal? Like, okay, I'm gone all weekend. Okay. You know, in the event industry, I'm gone all weekend. Not anymore. But before, I was gone all weekend. And it would be like, their dad would complain years ago. And I'd be like, oh, he's so annoying. Like, what the fuck? I'm working. What's the big deal? And he would always tell me, yo, you're never around, like the weekends. And I just would hear it as in, like, oh, he's trying to tell me what to do, you know, and it was that mentality of no, I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want because I'm making the money and no one's helping me, right? So I gotta make ends meet. But my, I guess, exes, we're still really close. Like we have an amazing relationship because he in turn really was my best friend, and he is really one of the reasons why I woke up, that little moment of wait a minute, my kids need more than just clothes. And this is such a touchy topic because my daughter was already 18. She already left the house. She moved to Florida. And it was like, am I getting this time back? I'm not. But what I can do from here on out is what counts because I felt like, damn, for 18 years, I thought I was doing right by her because I'm like, she ate, right? She got food, she got clothes, there's a house. We're getting from point A to point B, the car's paid. Like, it was like, literally, my mind was on I was a fucking robot for years.
Yeah. You were on autopilot.
I was on autopilot. I was not successful, really. I wasn't. Success to me at then was measured with I'm able to pay my bills. That was success for me. Like, okay, well, everything's paid this month. We're good. Next month, okay, tomorrow, okay. Like, there was no like happy moments of memories of joys. And I'm like, fuck, is it too late? But hearing your partner tell you, like, yo, you need to change or I'm out. Yo, you need to start hugging your kids. Like this house, there's no hugs. Like I didn't know what the fuck hugging every day was because I wasn't given to me. And I used to hold that grudge against my mother, but I realized like she didn't know any better. This just comes back to back to back from years of the same shit cycle going over and over again. So for a while I would be angry, like, well, my mom didn't hug me, you know? And it was like something that I had to let go of because it's like, that's not her fault. She too was raised a certain way that she was a child at one point, right? So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I feel like we're like on Erica's hot seat call right now. I'm so here for this emotion and this realness because not to cut you off, but a lot of people, I've even felt that same way about myself. Like I will be the first, well, probably not the first, but I will admit that I have not been the best parent. I'm a single mom. The relationship with my daughter's father, it ended and he's been out of the picture since she was 2 years old, like completely out of the picture. So I had a lot of anger and resentment towards that of like, damn, I didn't sign up to do this shit alone. And now, thank God for my family, I have that support. But a lot of those feelings that you felt, I felt that way too. And I think it's so beautiful for you to be able to openly express that because a lot of people feel that way, but they won't talk
they
about it.
won't talk about it. I feel like they are ashamed. And to be honest, I wasn't able to talk about it either. Like I would be like, what the fuck are you talking about? I am fine. My kids are fine. And one day he was like, yo, you guys don't even talk at dinner. You guys don't hug at night. Like, what the fuck? And I'd be like, oh, you're so clingy. Like, to me, it was like, bro. But then, like, I was like, wait. And then I spoke to my friends, and they're like, yeah, you've actually always been like that. And I'm like, what the fuck? Y'all didn't say nothing. If y'all feel like I'm dry, I'm supposed to be your best friends. Like, tell me that I'm in the wrong. I'm not gonna be mad. You know how it is. You want to hear from your friends before your partner. So I'm like, why don't you guys say that? Like, yo, if I'm some dry ass bitch, fucking tell me to loosen up. Like, give me a fucking hug, even if I'm awkward. Like, please don't touch me.
Right.
I'll hug you back in an awkward ass
Right.
position. But I'm like, yo. But I really was like, people would hug me, and I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? So now, no lie, every single night my son hugs me goodnight. And it has not changed. And then there's days he's like, oh, I didn't hug you, right? And I'm like, wow, the little moment of like, oh my God, that stayed with him, and even now, my daughter, she lives in Florida, but like our communication, text is the new shit. Yeah, we don't talk on the phone physically, but like we talk more in text. Like we're finally having conversations that we couldn't have before. But a breaking point for me also was that she finally wrote to me when she had left a long message telling me, Mom, this is what I wanted, but you were working. And that literally was like, oh my God, knife in my chest. Cause I'm like, what? Like she's finally adulting in her form. Yes, it was a text, a long one, but I had to read that like 10 times so I could be like, yo, he was right. Like I am not a loving person and it wasn't my fault. I would see these families and be like, is that shit fucking for real? Like, why is everybody so happy? Why are all y'all hugging so much? Like, what the fuck are you guys on? But it wasn't like now that I feel it and I've had that, I'm like, this is so nice. Sometimes I'm mad. I'm like, why am I so fucking emotional? I just want to, yo, get away from me.
Yeah.
I want to feel nothing.
Yes. Yes.
And then I'm like, that's not normal. Okay, let's go back. But I do every now and then get angry with not being with being so emotional. I'm like, yo, Ja, like, all right, the crying needs to stop. So
No, I feel you 100%. And, I just thank you for being so open and honest about that because it's real. A lot of us feel that way. And sometimes we do need that person in our life to check us, to give us a reality check. So, shout out to your ex and whoever else who was able to have that open line of communication that now looking back you can see and you took accountability. I had some faults and I own it. I can't change the past, but I can be in the present and do better for the future for my kids. So I think that's super, super inspirational. Thank you so much for sharing that.
it's awesome myself to finally see the transition because I've had people tell me like, girl, you're so different. I don't think I'm a different person. I feel like I'm finally opened up. Like I put my guard down a little because my guard has been up all my life. Especially if I don't know people, I'm not one to just be like hi and hug and kiss people right away because I'm still like that in new surroundings. But I'm more open to getting to know people, to being a little more open with conversations and like, okay, we can talk a little bit. Or, it's different now, especially on a personal level. Like, I'm not as open with just anyone that I just meet.
Exactly. No, I love that. That comes with the journey of healing and getting to know yourself and undoing generational trauma and all the things that we have to go through, especially as Latinas. So kudos to you, giving you your flowers, sis.
Thank you. Right back at you.
Thank
It
you.
wasn't easy for either one of us.
No, it's not easy, okay?
It's still not easy.
Okay. All right, so now I want to talk about you are an entrepreneur with all these businesses. How do you do it? You've been in the event planning space for over a decade, and I know you've branched out and have done other things. So take us on that journey on what that looked like for you.
So I started doing events. It's gonna be 12 years in March, or maybe 13. I honestly don't even remember. I gotta look at the paperwork. Oh, it's gonna be 13 years actually. Yeah,
Wow.
in March. So after a while of the hustle and bustle of like, yo, I bought a van, like storage. I was starting to build shit. My boyfriend at the time was building shit for me. We were like delivering, and I'm like, yo, this ain't it. Like,
That's a lot.
kudos to whoever wants to bust their ass for the rest of their life, but yo estoy fucking alta and I'm tired and yeah, I don't get paid enough for this. So,
Right.
before COVID, I was doing coordination workshops. Like I was teaching event planners to how to coordinate, how to do planning, how to price. So I had in-person workshops for about 2 years before COVID. When COVID hit, everything just died because mine were in person. Like I would do hands-on training with them and then they would become interns. It was awesome. And I was like loving that. When COVID hit, everything just shut the fuck down. Nobody wanted to do shit. There was no events. Obviously, it was a terrible year. I lost so much money. All my savings like depleted. Like I was like so scared that I was never gonna come back to like what I need to do. And I ended up hiring a coach because I needed help. And my cousin was getting coaching, and I'm like, what is that? Like, do I need that? And she's like, everybody needs a coach. And I'm like, all right, let's see how this works for me. With that, the coach that I had at the time, she was like, why aren't you coaching people? And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, that's crazy. And oh wait, rewind. Before the coach, I did a crazy ass shit and opened up a studio, like an intimate studio, like right at the end of the pandemic. Like, yeah, I'm gonna open this shit and see what happens. Everybody's like, now? I'm like, yeah,
Why
whatever.
not?
Who cares? I'll sign a 3-year lease. We'll see what happens, right? So that was the second business I opened, was the F&M creative space. So in there we do photography, photo shoots, videos. We do a lot of workshops, in person, like content creating, anything you can think about. That's why it's called the creative space. If you're a creative and you want to make something and do something and record it and whatever, even podcast recording can be done there. Like it's such an blank canvas that it can be used for so many things. And that's why I named it the creative space, because I myself am just always have creative ideas for other people. So I opened that and I had it for about a year. And that's when I got the coach. Actually, I had already passed my first year, because I remember talking to her about the location and everything, all the ups and downs. First year was amazing in the location. Like I felt like, wow, because COVID, everything reopened. We started, intimate parties were allowed. Remember, it was like 10 to 20 people. So my space was perfect for that. So I was like booming. I was like, yeah, this is great. Then it kind of like died again. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck am I going to do? Like, oh my God, I put myself into this situation. Now I got to figure it out, right? Like I always, but I was also like in a rut with my events. Like I'm like, I don't want to do events, but I don't want to let go of it completely because I need the money. I got the coach and she was like, just start coaching event planners, start coaching people in business. And I was like, that's crazy. Why would anybody hire me? And she was like, they already did when you were doing workshops. You were literally coaching them. Why can't you just coach them on a one-on-one basis? And, shout out to Sabrina Castillo. She literally woke me up and I was like, it took me a minute. I'm not going to front. Like I coached her for a few months and I still was like on the doubt. Imposter syndrome was over here like, bitch, what you doing? Who the fuck are you? And I was like, no, I think I got it. I think I could do this. Someone will hire me. So I kept pushing and pushing. And then this year, so I took all like last 6 months of last year. It took me till this year to say, let's do it. So this year I branched into the third business of coaching. So that is where I'm at now, transitioning into trying to full-time coach and part-time events, where I could pick and choose which events I want to take. Because to be honest, like I'm gonna miss the world of events. I just don't want to do the hustle and bustle. Like if I have a whole team come through and I'm just standing there fanning my ass, hey, hey, put that
Yeah, because you've done it already. And,
there.
what I really love about your story is that you pivoted and you branched out, doing the scary shit, not knowing how it was going to pan out, and you didn't give up. So, what I want from you is being a coach now, put your coaching hat on.
Okay, hold on.
What would be some advice that you would tell, especially like new entrepreneurs, whatever business it is that they want to do? What would be some advice that you would tell them to focus on, especially in the beginning?
I would say focus on the bigger picture, as scary as it is, and also focus on taking your own time. Everybody's on their own race. Like the thing is, social media has fucked it up for a lot of us because ustedes, like the new generation, they see something and they're like, I'm gonna do that right now, tomorrow, and if I don't get it by tomorrow, I'm gonna fucking lose it. No, we're not the same people. Like every recipe is different. We may have the same outcome, but the process is just different. Like there's no, okay, you did it this way, I'm gonna do it exactly your way. No, we're not. Because at the end of the day, I'm me, you're you. But I just tell people, like, look, you have this vision. Just, let's figure out the equation on how to get to that goal. And if that first try doesn't work, let's see what you can do different in that equation. Because I feel like everybody just thinks of it like, well, I see it on social media, it could get done. It doesn't fucking work like that. You just got here, bitch. Calm down.
I hope you coach that same exact way.
I do, and they always tell me I'm so mean. I'm so
I love it.
I am
No, but
mean.
you're real. You're
You know
real and
why?
you're
Because I
honest.
feel like I needed somebody to be mean to me. I needed that. I needed that pow pow because it's like that's why I'm with Erica now. In the sisterhood and the startup squad because I needed somebody like that. Just yell at me. I'm not gonna get mad at you. Like when I used to get trainers, like physical trainers, I would get tough trainers and people would be like, you like that they yell at you? I'm like, yes, bitch, because I need to finish these reps.
Right.
Because if they're not on my ass, then I'm not gonna finish these reps. I'm gonna just be like, oh yeah, finish, bye. So now even with my fitness now, when I work out, I'm the same way with myself because I'm like, no, no, no. I used to be able to do this. We're gonna redo this again. It's the same cycle. You have to repeat the cycle. You can't just assume because you saw it online or because so and so did it, you're gonna do it the same way. It's not gonna happen. I have some people that just quit. And I feel bad because I'm like, you didn't even fucking try. Did you actually fucking try? Did you try a different route? No? Then that's your fault. Honestly, we're our worst enemies. And we're the only people in our own fucking way. And it's like, yo, get out of your own way because someone else is gonna do it before you. At the end of the day, you know how much shit I've thought about that has happened, and I'm like, fuck, I should have done that because now somebody did it, and it has stopped me from doing it anyway. Where I'm like, wait, I could still do it because 14 other people are doing it. Why can't I? Like they always go into the loaf when you see the loaves of bread at the fucking store, and they're like, look at how many fucking brands. Same shit with everything.
Yeah.
I remember when I started doing the workshops for event planners, people would be like, why are you going to teach them everything? They're going to steal your clients. And I'd be like, no, they're not. They're going to get their own fucking clients because my clients are my clients and your clients are your clients. So, a mí que me importa. Like, go ahead, knock yourself the fuck out.
Yeah.
Shit, take it off my back. Like,
Exactly.
y'all all think event planning is mad cute, right? Okay, vamos, dale.
Exactly. Yeah. And
So,
another thing that I wanted to piggyback on when it comes to social media, a lot of people fall into this comparison trap of seeing, someone like you who has skin in the game 13 plus years, you've been doing it and you're at this level of success, and then they're like, "Okay, I'm going to start tomorrow. I'm going to be that same exact person." It's like, no, like you have to crawl before you walk, before you run. As cliche as it is, yeah.
no, but it's baby steps. Everything is
Yeah.
baby steps. Listen, unless you're literally not even this, because I was gonna say if you were born into money, it's easier, but it's not. At the end of the day, because some people think like, oh wow, you hustled. I didn't know that about your life. Like when they find out my background, I'm like, you think I was fucking born into this industry? No, my mother was. She owned her own business. Yes, I did see the hustle of being an entrepreneur, but she had a travel agency in Washington Heights. You know that shit was popular. Everybody had a fucking travel agency back then.
Everybody.
Because that's how you bought tickets back then. There was no fucking online purchasing. You literally had to go to a travel agency, and I would see this. And then she did taxes, so I'd see like those 4 months were crazy for her, 5 months tax season, and I'm like, I want to do something like this because she can work on her whatever hours she gets home, whatever the fuck she wants. But then I didn't realize the downfall. I'm like, oh, you mean you work all fucking day, all night,
Right.
all week? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So that was the part that, as a child, she wasn't telling me, and she probably didn't think any of us were going to be in the industry. My sister's a florist, so we're in the similar industry, and that is a nonstop industry too. Flowers are needed 24/7. Funerals, baby showers, birthdays, like that's an industry that's never going to stop. So is photography, so is cake. People love food. Like these industries are always going to have somewhere, catering, all those industries. Like, so the people that I coach are all those industries, and I'm like, guys, you're needed. It may not be today, but you're going to be needed later. What makes you different? The only thing I do when I see other coaches or other people that are doing what I do, I try to like learn from them. Not like try to be like them, but I'm like, damn, what is she doing that I'm not doing? Because it'll help me maybe do something a little bit different, or switch something of mine, right? But not because I want to be like someone, but it's like, yo, this girl is fucking awesome. I love what she's doing. And that's how me and you linked up, because I went to Erica's I joined the sisterhood. I joined the sisterhood because of the Manifiesta. And it was just like we're going backwards to back. When she got on the screen, I was like, where the fuck has this lady been, man? And I was like, whoa, someone that talks like me. Like I felt like seen, and I'm like, I love this vibe. And I was like, that is something that I like. To me, I looked at her like, damn, I want this for me where I am. And that's how I tell people, like, you could see someone and admire their work and not feel like they're a competition, but actually have them help you move forward, like push you more. Not on some, oh my God, she did this before me. No, or he did this before me. No, like, yo, let that push you. Let that push you to where you want to be.
That's the difference between having like a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. Being able to see someone like Erica and not feel this resentment or this jealousy, like, oh, I want to be like her. Like, no, I'm looking at her like I aspire to be on her level, but to add my own flavor to it. So I think that's really important for new entrepreneurs to really focus on not falling into this comparison trap that happens all the time on social media, but just, look to people as giving you the inspiration and the motivation to do what it is that works for you. Now, another thing that really comes up a lot with new entrepreneurs and small business owners, we talked about it a little bit before, is imposter syndrome, scarcity mindset, burnout. I'm sure you've experienced all
Oh my
those
God.
things. Yeah. So, talk a little bit about that.
To be honest, so my mindset, I didn't start mindset training or coaching or whatever work until recently, maybe it's the last 2, 3 years. And it has to go back to when I wanted to change my mindset about family and what it meant to be successful and what it meant to be happy. Because to me, growing up in a household of workaholics, really, that's what success was to me. Because if you have money, you're fine, right? Who cares? But yet you're falling apart inside. You're miserable. Your family hates you. Your fucking kids don't want to talk to you. Your fucking partner wants to leave you. Why? Because you're working your ass off. Y'all not having sex. Why? Because you ain't home. You get cheated on. Why? Because bitch, you still not home. So it's like I never wanted that. So when I realized and someone ever brought it to my attention, I was like, wait, this isn't success. Yes, it's nice to have money. Yes, it's nice to be able to buy shit. Tell you this much, I don't name brand shop. I shop on Amazon. I shop on TJ Maxx. I shop on fucking wherever the fuck there's a discount. I try to support small businesses around me too, because I know the struggle. But you don't see me rocking top this, top that. A mí que me importa. Nobody gives a shit. At the end of the day, si me lo quieren regalar, I'll take it, but I'm not gonna buy it. So that is not success to me. Like fancy cars, none of that's to me. Like, and then so my mindset was on what is success? Okay, success is being able to get home at a decent time to cook dinner, to be with my child, to have a conversation with him, to watch a movie, to just whatever, to be able to go on a date night, to be able to get my fucking nails done, get my hair done, do whatever. That is where I also transitioned into learning how to self care, because I didn't know that either. Not only on a physical um state, but like my internal, like all that was falling apart for me. When I tell you my health was shit, like I was falling apart. I was never a big drinker, but I would go party. Like I love dancing, but I would just go out and go to work the next day on a weekend, and I'm like, what am I doing? I'm exhausted. By Monday, I'm like, don't talk to me. Like that to me was, I had to shift all that mindset. Like now, if I'm going to go out, I'm like, what time, and we're getting home at a decent time
Yep.
because I don't do that late night shit no more.
Yeah.
And then just like I changed my mindset on a personal level. I changed like who I surround myself with. I also changed like the way I just run my home. It's different now. Like we talk more, we just hug more, we just love each other more. It's just totally different. And then imposter syndrome, if we're gonna piggyback on that, if you don't work on your mindset, it's gonna be hard to work on imposter syndrome because at the end of the day, I'm not gonna front. There's times that I still have imposter syndrome, even recently, where I'm like, shit, well, why does this keep happening? And I'm gonna be honest, for us women, it's harder when we get the PMS going. Ooh, I think PMS and imposter are like BFFs because I'm like, I suck. And now that I cry more, I'm like, let me just
Yeah.
cry too. So like, forget it. When it's that time of month, I don't know what I'm doing. I hate my industry. I don't want to do this anymore. And then the next day, I'm like, who was that bitch yesterday? She was like crazy. Whoa. But I'm able to call it out now. Before I couldn't. I would just be like, oh, we're sinking. I'm drowning. Help me without asking for help. Because that was one thing for me. I didn't know how to ask for help. And that's an ego thing. Like my mom worked so hard, and it goes back to that because my mom worked so hard with no help that I grew up thinking, no, yo me tengo que matar. Aquí, we're gonna fucking kill ourselves working and not ask for help because that's how my mom did it. So why am I gonna be any better getting help? No, girl. I'll be like, hey girl, I need help. Like, where you at? Where you at right now? Because now I'm not no fucking I'm superwoman sometimes, but I don't want to wear that cape all the time. And shit is tiring. And it's self-sabotaging. I feel like you're self-sabotaging yourself because we're not robots. At the end of the day, that's what you were raised to do, but change that. If you're not happy, change that. Change that now before it's too late.
Exactly. I love that you ended it with that because we all have circumstances that we were brought up in, and we can either have that mindset that, like, this is what happened to me and I'm just going to continue it, or we can have that growth mindset that we talked about earlier and be like, no, I'm going to break the cycle. I'm going to do something different, and I'm going to just own who the fuck I am and whatever it is that I do. So thank you for sharing that. I wanted to do like a part two to this whole conversation. There's a lot that comes with new entrepreneurs or new business owners, that a lot of talk from outside people, right? And you talked about a little bit changing the people that you surround yourself with is really important. So what would be some advice that you would give to a new entrepreneur when it comes to family, especially family? They love to talk shit when you're doing something that goes against the grain, right? What would you say is some advice for them in order to move past that?
So my coaching program is called Mind Your Business
Yes.
for a reason. I always tell everybody, yo, mind your business. Like, this ain't about you. And whatever so and so is doing, it's not about them, and vice versa. I feel like we want to be the best version of ourselves, especially for our family, sometimes for our parents, right? Like, oh my God, mom's going to be disappointed in me because XYZ. Look, I started getting tattoos at 35, just a sidebar. My mom still be talking shit every time she sees it. ¿Y cuánto tú te vas a poner? Te lo vas a poner aquí, te lo vas a poner aquí. I'm like, and I always say, sí, me lo va a poner en la cara, me lo va a poner en el cuello.
Yeah.
Just to fucking egg her on. Because I'm like, sorry, mom, I'm going to be, that's it. You're not even going to see my face anymore. But I finally got to a point in my life where I am me, and this is me. I love tattoos. Am I going to be tattooed from head to toe? No. But you have to accept me for who I am finally. I waited to be 35 to respect my mom because I'm like, I'm 35. I already got a 20-year-old. Like, yo, leave me alone. I
Right.
think we're good, right? But I still feel like I don't tell my family anything I'm doing. Literally. I don't really tell a lot of my friends either because I feel like alguna gente, most people, they're not going to understand. If they're not an entrepreneur, they're not going to get it. And that's something that I tell people all the time. If your friends have 9 to 5s or have whatever jobs or stay at home or do whatever the fuck they want, they are not going to get an entrepreneur mindset. We are fucking considered insane. Half of the shit we do is not normal for the normal world. Now, what is normal? I don't fucking know. I don't care. I don't want to be normal. I like to be outside the box and not giving a fuck. Why do I run 3 businesses? I don't fucking know. Do I have to? No. But it makes me happy and that's what pays my bills. So what is it to you? Now, people are like, "You're going to stop doing events?" Yes, eventually I would like to not be busting my fucking ass. Is that a problem? Not for me. For you, you should be happy. I've been telling people you should be happy because now I'm not taking your clients. Haha. I always tell people, like, listen, I love the event industry to an extent now. Before I fucking breathed it. Like I literally was like parties, parties, events, weddings, this, that. Now I'm like, no, I don't, this isn't my life anymore. I'm still in the industry. I'll still take on events. But when I tell my family that I was transitioning, they were like, what? How are you going to make money? And I'm like, but there's other people doing what I do now, the coaches that make millions of dollars, and they're not killing themselves the way we do in the event industry. A few months back, the event industry was top 5 most stressful industries in the world. Top 5 after fucking like a surgeon, a fucking heart doctor, firefighters. Like I'm like, why are we even in that in there? Those people save fucking lives. Are you kidding me right now? So I'm like, we're not doing fucking heart transplants. Like, what is this? Who wants this type of stress to consider themselves successful? You know how much sleep I used to lose? Because I'd be like, paniqueada the night before a wedding, like like this, like I can't be late. And then at the wedding, like at 10:30, like, yo, and they cutting this fucking cake already? Because I'm like, yo, I'm tired.
I'm ready to go.
Like, I'm like, so last dance? So what's up? With that, I love the mind your business, meaning put your mind to your business. Yes, and also mind your business on what other people are doing. Same way you want people to let you do your thing, just mind your business. Focus on you. You don't have to tell anybody what you're doing. You don't have to have anybody's okay. You don't have to have anybody's approval. If this is a dream of yours, go for it. Who gives a shit if it's your mom, your sister, your brother, your father, your spouse? And that's the topic we had. I had an event like this week, a mind your business live event, and that was one of the biggest things that all the panelists said. If your partner is not in with it, yo, that's not gonna work.
Listen, I'm so glad you said that, yo. I can't even like stress that enough. If your partner is not your biggest fucking cheerleader,
Yo, like, what's up? Where are my fucking pom poms?
they gotta go.
Oh, I want you to do a cartwheel in the fucking driveway when I.
Okay? Like you need to be like the mascot, like in the
I'm
background.
like, where are
Fucking
my pom poms?
yeah. No, I'm so glad you brought that up because a lot of people stay in those type of relationships because they're comfortable, because we've been together for so long, because we have kids.
Yeah, if they have
Girl.
kids, 90% of the time, listen. Some of the people I know are married. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what are you? Are you literally serious? Those poor children are sensing those vibes. You think children are dumb just because they're little? They're not. They sense that. Me and their father have been apart 12 years, and we've been hanging out more because my daughter's actually here, and we get along great. But my kids know, like, that's it. We're good as friends, and it's been 12 years. It would never go there again just because I don't see that. And I assume he doesn't either. We're just good that way. But that not everybody gets that. They're like, no, we have to be together. We had kids together. Like he hated the industry and still hates it. He hates it till this day, and it's not even his problem anymore. And I'm like, well, good. I'm out. And I was out for a reason. But I tell people all the time, if your partner's giving you a hard time, like, don't change your profession.
At the end of the day, if it makes you happy, I think that's the most important thing. Like your happiness. And if you see like this bigger picture that we talked about, just focus on that and block out all the noise because there's always going to be noise, but it's up to you to be like, nah, fuck that.
Always fucking noise.
Yeah. Oh, I love this conversation. It's going so good. All right, so I just have a few more questions. I want to know what would you say is your superpower? I know you say you're not Wonder Woman, but
No, but my superpower is always figuring it out, no matter what, by any means necessary. That's something my friends used to always tell me, yo, you with your fucking figure it out. Because they would call me and I'm like, yo, just figure it out. Because I did. And my thing is now, so I had to learn the difference between empathy and sympathy. So for a while, I didn't realize that they're very different. So being a teenage mom, right, I had to figure everything out. So when I have my friends now having kids in their 30s and they're like, ah! I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like, so sometimes, and then I have to think back. I'm like, okay, I'm not trying to be, what is it? I'm not trying to be sympathetic. You know what? Fuck those words. I'm not trying to not understand them, but I sometimes just look at people like, man, you a grown ass woman. Like, you gotta figure this shit out. And you're married and you have a partner that supports you. Like, stop. Let's stop this right now. Especially when it comes to parenting, because parenting is fucking hard and it's a never ending job. I'm gonna be 40 in 2 years. My mother, I still call my mother. Like, how do I make the tea they used to make when I was sick? Mommy, venga, hazme esto, because just things are different. You know, you want that love from your parents for certain things. So God bless my mom, and I tell people all the time, like, no matter what, my mom figured it out. And she was alone. She's been alone. You know, she remarried and then he passed away. She's still alone now. And it's like she's 63. Pero ella sigue every day doing things. She babysits my sister's kids still. Like, ella se faja. And I'm like, yo, if that generation can do it, you know how it is. They'll to shove it in your face, all the shit that they were able to do back in the day. So how come you can't do it? I feel like I have that little bit of me that sometimes I'm like, all right, I gotta calm down. But it's just something that has motivated me to be able to figure shit out no matter what.
Let me ask you part two to that question. What would you say is something that you still struggle with to this day?
I still struggle with believing in myself 100%. I still struggle with that. Every now and then I have that doubt that comes in, that imposter syndrome. I don't think it's something that ever just leaves your body. And if it does, then fucking you're amazing. You're fucking, I don't know. But there's days that I have moments where I just zone out and I'm like, I can't do this. Like, is this really it? And then it makes me sad. Like, I just start crying and I'm like, oh my God. And I used to hold in tears. I didn't like crying either. That was a big thing. Like, if you're crying, you're weak. Now I'm like, all right, I gotta cry. So I go to my room and just literally fucking cry and just let it out. And people be like, why are you crying? I'm like, I don't fucking know, but it needs to come out for me to feel better. So now when I have those moments of doubtful moments, because they come and they come in strong, girl. I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm like, yo, this ain't fucking it. Like, what's happening right now? And I let it out now. Before it was like, let it eat me alive, and then I'm gonna go put a smile on my face for everybody else. No, now, I mean, one thing about me is, if you know me, my face says it all. Doesn't matter. It does not matter. I am Queen RBF. Like,
Me
nobody gives a
too.
fuck. And I could be in the happiest mood, but that face doesn't look like it. But when I'm in a mood and I know and I'm down, and my friends and family, those that really have invested the time and energy to get to know who I really am now, know when something is wrong. And I'm like, I need a moment. But that is something that I still struggle with. And I am human. I've realized I'm not a robot. So,
And I'm glad you brought that up because I feel all of those feelings too. Like, I've been doing this podcast since the beginning of the year, and I'm just like, some days I'm like,
and first of all, bye, bitch. You're fucking killing it.
thank you.
You're killing it. And actually, you're one of the reasons why I hit you up about this privately, but you're one of the
Yeah,
reasons
yeah.
why I said I'm going to do it, because that was my fourth business venture that I said, why not? Let me just do that now, sooner than later. Why not now instead of later, right?
Yeah, no, there's definitely days that is it worth it? Am I wasting my time? Is anyone really
You're not.
listening? Like,
Mm-mm.
thank you. It's a feeling that I'm sure a lot of us have all felt and will continue to feel, but it's important not to stay in that moment. Like we said earlier, we can get in our way, we can be our biggest downfall, our biggest hater, but it's important to not acknowledge that feeling, but not stay there.
Yeah, because I feel like it's also bad to not acknowledge it, because it's like it eats you alive, literally. And not for nothing, like, as I've gotten older, I realized, like, that fucks with your body internally. It's not just a physical appearance thing. Like, your insides, like, just don't function correctly when you're out of whack. Like, especially for a female, unfortunately, we go through so much more than men. Love me, my men, but yeah, motherfuckers don't gotta deal with
They don't understand the struggle of
have to
being a
deal with.
woman.
One thing is down and our whole day could go to shit, and it's like,
Okay.
oh God, yeah.
Yeah,
So.
no, for sure. That's real shit. All right, so now I'm going to ask you the questions that I ask every single guest that comes on this podcast. So the first one, what has been one of the hardest lessons you've learned as an adult?
How to love,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, how to actually love unconditionally and literally, like, relationship, be in love, be present. Like, that was so fucking hard to let go of what I thought love was and realize what real love was. That was really hard because I thought I was fine. Like, I was like, oh, we're good, everything's good, right? And I don't mean just in a relationship. Like, love your friends, love your family, love your children.
Love yourself.
Yes, and that was the last one I was going to say, because I have such a hard time with that. And this year, I told myself, this is Josie's year. Like, whatever that means, if it doesn't make me happy, I'm not doing it. If it makes me happy, I'm going to do it. If I have to spend a little more money, I'm going to do it. I did my first retreat this year, and I already put my deposit on the second one.
Yes, I'm here
Because
for
I said,
it.
no, I'm not, like I said earlier, I wasn't able to do the traveling when my kids were little. And now I have conversations with my kids. Hey, my son mostly, because he's the one that lives home with me. But I tell him, hey, I'm going to go on this trip. Is that okay with you? Because I don't want him to feel like, damn, mom's going away so much. But I also try to make the time of taking him away, doing things with him but I do want to live my life, and I want to enjoy, and I want to love myself like wholeheartedly. Like, look in the mirror and be like, fuck yes, look at you, bitch.
I'm here for that. I love that answer, and I think it's really important to, as we wear these hats of being the mom and the business owner and the wife and the partner and all these things, like we always, especially as women, tend to forget about ourselves. And it's not that putting ourselves first means that it needs to be selfish in a negative way. I feel like a lot of people tend to look at it like that, like, oh, you only care about yourself. Like,
Oh, girl, tú no sabes. This year, because I've been doing a lot of like photo shoots, and that's another thing for me is I went into a health. My health went to shit. Like, I ended up. I have big thyroid disorder. So for me, my health went to shit. And if you don't take care of your thyroid, ladies, please go get your thyroid checked, because that shit is so random. You don't even know you have it. So for 3 years, I didn't know what was wrong. There was a lot of things just wrong with me. So finally, I literally, my self care consists of now all my doctor's appointments. It's not just hair and nails and bullshit. It's literally physicals, doctor appointment, gym, fucking whatever, laser hair removal, whatever, because I put myself on such a big hold that I was falling apart internally. I'm severely anemic till this day. There's days I'm fucking exhausted. Like, because I used to do such robotic that I was not eating properly, that I wasn't doing this. So now I am every 3 months blood work. Why? Because that's the only way to figure out what's really what's really going on in your body. It's not just, oh, I'm tired. It's just today. No, bitch, something could really be wrong with you just because you're tired. And that's something that I've told myself, no, we're going to get these physicals, we're going to get checked up, we're going to do whatever the fuck it is to make me feel better, because no one's going to do it for me.
yeah. Let this be, ladies and gentlemen, the reminder to go make your appointment with your doctor.
You
Please.
know what's crazy? I do this with my students, my
Yeah.
mentees, because half of them start complaining about things, and I'm like, have you been to the doctor? Because I know I'm your coach, but I'm not your doctor, and I'm not your therapist, and I need you to always have that, please. Like,
Yes.
it's so big for us women, because a scare we had last year was my sister was diagnosed with breast cancer, and that was because she found it herself. Imagine, we go for mammograms for what? They don't fucking that doesn't show you everything. This is huge. Like, my family was in distraught, because it's like, what? How the fuck do you have that? Because we were like so shocked. But then after that, we all started doing the family history tree. Who has this? Who's had that? Because
Yeah.
Hispanics, nobody tells anybody shit. Lo and behold, a bunch of my cousins have had cancer. Was
Mhm.
anybody gonna say anything? I'm here like, bitch, I have a thyroid disorder. My cousin died last year from thyroid cancer. You know how scary that
Mm.
is for me?
Yeah.
So I'm really on top of my shit. It's not about just, oh, I look good. No, bitch, I want to feel good. And I want to make sure that my insides are still okay.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's the perfect definition of self-care, right? Making sure that not just the outward appearance is good, but everything inside is right along with it. So you're on the Watch Us Thrive podcast, so I want to know what's your definition of thriving.
I wrote this down because I didn't want to forget it.
Yes.
So thriving to me means growing, right? Like, you're growing, blossoming into who you are. And I wanted, for me, since I said this is my year, I am fiercely thriving this year. Vigorously, everything. As fucking beautiful as I can say this, I am growing like a savage, because my friends love to call me a fucking savage.
And I love that. I
They
love
call
that
me a
term.
savage. They call me fierce. So I am fiercely thriving like a fucking savage.
I'm
And
here for it.
that
I
to
think you should
me,
get that tattooed on you.
girl, my mom's gonna kill me, but sure, sure, I'll find where to put it.
Why not?
Fuck it. But yes, I think thriving is just growing, blossoming into who the fuck you really are. And that's where I'm at now.
unapologetic as fuck, and I'm so here
Yes.
for it. I love that. Let's go back to your 18-year-old self when you
Oh,
had your baby. What is one piece of advice you would tell her being the woman that you are today?
slow the fuck down. Literally, slow down. I was in a race to I don't know where. Like I look back and I was in such a race. But if I could talk to her, I would just say slow down because it's one life. Enjoy it. I didn't enjoy a lot of my teenage years, 20s. I did just started enjoying it recently. So I feel like breathe. You're going to get there. Just slow down.
Yeah. And I really love that you said that last part that you're just starting to enjoy it now because I feel like with society, especially with women, there's such a pressure that we need to have our lives figured out by the time we're 25. And if we don't, then we're deemed a failure. You know what I mean? So I really think it's important to be like, your journey is your journey. And whatever it is that you've gone through, that's your story. And you don't need to be on this timeline that, oh, I need to hit every single thing. And if I don't, I'm a fucking failure.
That's huge because there's so many people that feel like that, especially
Hmm.
moms.
Yeah.
Especially moms. They're like, oh my God, I didn't get to get my kid this fucking outfit he wanted, these fucking expensive ass Yeezys. Like, shut up.
Yeah.
Like, bitch, I
None
was
of that
like,
shit matters.
I was rocking like Reeboks. Them shits were
Yep.
bomb. Like, bye. My JanSport was lit as fuck with all the little straps on it, the little
Yes.
things.
And the
Like,
patches.
what happened? Yeah, what happened to that?
Let's go back to the 90s. That was a great
Oh
era.
my God. It really was.
All right. So, final question. What is an affirmation or a mantra that you practice daily and why?
It's a quote, actually. I believe her name is Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. And it's if your dreams don't scare you, they aren't big enough. I feel like the size of your dream should be bigger than your capacity. I think we should be scared as fuck every day of what we're trying to get to because it shouldn't come easy at all. And if it's easy, it wasn't big enough. And that's the truth.
I love that. I always do like a little teaser in the beginning of each episode, and that might be it because that's just like, boom, mic drop.
Do it. I can't drop my mic because I just got it, but I
Okay.
will drop it.
No, and like we said earlier, like just get out of your own fucking way because 10 times out of 10, it's us stopping us from reaching that next level of
We are
whatever.
literally our worst critic, our worst
Yep.
enemy, our biggest enemy, and our worst critic, and it's so bad. But it's something that'll never change, unfortunately, unless you really put in the work. And if you don't put in that work, you're gonna be stagnant. You're gonna stay where you are. If you're not comfortable where you are, get the fuck out of there. Do whatever it needs to be done to get out of that. Because if you're gonna talk about the same shit every day, just don't fucking call me. Cause I can't. Like
We
I'm
ain't
just
got
like,
time.
yo, I already talked to you about this. If you haven't changed it, like, what's going on? Esto es problema tuyo at this point. Si tú no vas a cambiar, like, no one's gonna do it for you. Literally, you are born alone. You are gonna fucking die alone. Get your shit done. You only have one time. One time.
One life to live.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, this conversation has been so good. Thank you so much for
Thank
dropping your
you.
realness, your rawness. I love it. I love your fucking
Thank
energy.
you. Thank
We're
you.
like the same person.
I know. I love this. I love this. And you're in Jersey, and we finally really need to link up. Our
No, absolutely. Yes. Once I get back from Florida, we're definitely going to link up.
That's right. That's right.
But I would want you to share with my audience what are you working on, how we can follow you, plug in all your social media, talk about your podcast, all of that.
That is actually what I'm working on. So
Yes.
the next step is a podcast. I'm finalizing the name, which has been the hardest fucking task
That's
ever.
the hardest thing to
Holy
do.
shit. I think I have like 26 names so far, and that's
Yes.
actually my favorite number. It's funny that I said that. But I'm like, all right, this is not supposed to be that hard. But I am in the startup squad with Erica, and I've been throwing names at the groups. Just like, somebody help me, please. So the podcast, I'm hoping to have it within the next month and a half, like launched, and I have a ton of topics, and I'll be interviewing people like you, similar. That's why like listening to you and being on different podcasts has helped me because it helps me grow also, and like how I'm gonna do it. And even having the live panel last week was fucking awesome because I'm like, oh, I like being a host. I kind of like.
Yes.
But to follow all the new stuff that I'm doing, it's my coaching page is it's Yosely Yosi Maldonado Maldonado, and then my FNM events is my events page, and then I have the creative space page. So you're gonna have to write all these down because it's
We're
too
gonna
many.
link all of them in the episode show notes.
Yes, that's another thing that I tell people. Like, if you're running businesses, separate them because it gets a little confusing. And if they're in, I know my event space and event business is similar, but they're very different. If you look at the pages, that's why I had to open a second. It's a lot of work. I'm not gonna front. I hate that I have so many pages, but it's 3 different worlds if we think about it. So
Now it's gonna be 4 with the podcast, and I'm
I
so excited to hear that.
know. And you know what's crazy? I'm fucking scared.
As you should be. As you should be.
I'm scared, but I think it's gonna be so awesome, and I'm really
You're gonna
excited.
kill it. I know you're gonna kill it. You have amazing energy. You know, you're a boss. You know who the fuck you are, and I'm just so
I love
excited.
you for that.
Oh, absolutely. I'm so excited to see what comes for you. So thank you so much for coming on here.
Thank you for having me. This was fucking awesome.
Absolutely.